You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. How y'all doing out there tonight? Yes, I know, it's been a few days. I've had to take care of some friends and family, and, well, all I gotta say is my friends and family I love you guys, don't get me wrong, but my friends and family will come first. And I've said it before, and I'm not ashamed to say it. So I had a couple of things, Monday was a holiday. I had two friends in the hospital with crazy things such as appendicitis times 2. Yes, both of them had appendicitis. Woohoo! And they don't even live near each other, very far apart. But I had things I had to do for both. I've been just a wee bit on the slam busy side, folks, so I apologize, but unfortunately, that's kind of how the cookie crumbles some days. So, like I said, I've been a bit busy. Now, couple of programming notes. I've got some stuff coming up. This is going to be a rocky week for Jesse's POV. Remember, I am Jewish. Today is a Jewish holidays. So, it's kind of, today's a Jewish holiday. There's more of them coming up. And I've got a husband who's getting ready to be gone for a year. That creates a lot of chaos. More than you know. So, now, I do have a couple of good nuggets for you, don't I always? Don't I always? You know I do. Now, given the recent launch, we're going to also take a look at the nuclear triad. Yes, the nuclear triad. That is the 3 types of nuclear missiles. That the United States possesses and can launch. No, I'm not going into how fast they launch, what it takes to launch them. Sorry, you're looking for that information? You're backing up the wrong tree. No, seriously, you're barking. So, also, as the show title indicated, Raqqa is not the end-all and be-all of Daesh. What? Yeah. when they clear out Raqqa, we're going to have fighters returning home. We're going to have fighters that no matter how tight that cordon, they will sneak out. They will head back to their home country. Sorry about that. I just knocked over a bottle of water there, kids. It was empty. No harm done. But they will seek to go elsewhere. They will not stick around. So it's going to be kind of fascinating watching what happens. Now, I've got some other stuff. We're going to do more Daesh or ISIS in the second half. We are going to talk quackers. So, because, well, he's been shooting off his rockets and to some extent his mouth. So, it's been interesting, kids. What can I say? Now, what I did find fascinating and yes, I've got my show prep. We'll get to that in just a minute. Is that we decided to do a little luncheon of our own. Yes, unless you live under a rock, and I'd like to think that none of my listeners live under rocks. You know that we launched a test for a missile defense system test for an ICBM. And it was successful. So, I mean, I'm glad it was successful. I couldn't have been happier it was successful. But I'm comfortable with the protection provided by our United States Armed Forces. The U.S. military destroyed a mock intercontinental untie the tongue. The U.S. military destroyed a mock intercontinental ballistic missile thousands of miles over the Pacific for the first time Tuesday. This is a step forward for a missile defense program that has taken on new significance in light of North Korean threats. The Ground-Based Mid-Course Defense System, GMD for short, used a 5-foot kill vehicle released from a larger ground-based interceptor missile to obliterate the mock ICBM. The mock threat was launched from the Ronald Reagan Ballistic Missile Defense Test Site in the Marshall Islands. It was met by an interceptor launched from a silo at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. The intercept of a complex threat representative ICBM target is an incredible accomplishment for the GMD system. It's a critical milestone. And this system, bar none, is vital to the defense of our homeland. And that's according to Admiral Jim Searing, director of the Missile Defense Agency. Yeah, bet you didn't know we had that one. The test was originally scheduled for last year, but it was pushed back as the Missile Defense Agency made engineering changes to the interceptor. So they wanted to do some other testing and evaluation to assess everything before they actually launched it. Because while it is important that it launch properly, there's other things it's got to do. Now, of course, the Missile Defense Agency was the lead group. There was also the Air Force's 30th Space Wing at Vandenberg and U.S. Northern Command. So, Now, 4 of the 9 missile intercepts prior to Tuesday had been a success. That's not a huge record, kids. 4 out of 9. So it's going to be interesting what happens, but thankfully it worked yesterday. Now, does this mean we have a perfect shield? No. Our ballistic missile architecture is sufficient to protect us today, but it can be overwhelmed. If the United States faces a wave of incoming ballistic missiles, someone would have to make a decision which one to take out or not. And that's a very tough decision. I wouldn't want to be in that position. So I'm sure you've seen the footage. It is incredible. Yes, it's absolutely amazing. Alright. Moving right along. Yes, I've got my show prep. We'll get there. Just bear with me a second. Good grief, kids. Good grief. Good grief. Now, why is this test so important? Well, it is so important because North Korea is trying to develop an ICBM to strike us. And if anybody's actually going to be crazy enough or whackers enough to actually launch such a thing, oh yes, I said quackers, it's going to be Kim Jong-un. It truly will be. So, he is not known for being sane. Although he may be legally sane, he's not the most rational actor on the world stage. I mean, the man may not be clinically insane. That I can pretty much tell you. I doubt he is. A little bit, believing too much in his own propaganda? Yes. Now, North Korea is cracking down. And I've told you before, at least I believe I have, a lot of Hollywood movies and Southern Korean television dramas are smuggled into North Korea. Either on DVD, thumb drive, what have you. Now, illegal films and illegal television is all material produced outside of North Korea. In the past, viewing of illegal films was seen as non-socialist activity and punished as an act of engaging the culture of yellow capitalism. But recently, the activity has been designated as an act of espionage and anti-state crime, which raises the punishment. The punishment for watching videos used to be 3 to 5 years at a labor camp. Okay? A 5-year minimum labor sentence for North Koreans who watch foreign media. Yeah, 3 to 5 years. However, it's now a capital crime. Yes, in North Korea you can be executed for watching foreign media. No, I am not kidding. Now, why does North Korea cling to its nukes? I mean, the North Koreans run a simulation of a nuclear attack on a U.S. military base. They put out the propaganda. Blah, 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 blah. Quack, quack, quack. If North Korea launches a preemptive nuclear strike on an American military base in Asia, do they really think we'd recoil and retreat? Really? I don't think so. Now, in March, remember, they launched 4 Scuds into the ocean, about 185 to 220 miles off the coast of Japan. What I find interesting about this, not that they did it, come on, they're always shooting something off, was that they called it a drill of troops who will strike the bases of the U.S. imperialist aggressor forces in Japan in a contingency. Oh yeah, they have a pretty crappy view of us. Now, an analyst, Jeffrey Lewis, and his colleagues at the Center for Nonproliferation Studies in Monterey, California, quickly realized the Scuds were on a trajectory that with a southerly tweak would have sent them raining onto Marine Corps Air Station Iwakani on the southern tip of Japan's main island. Yeah. And there's approximately 10,000 U.S. and Japanese personnel. It's a fighter base. There's a lot going on. Now, the F-35s, it's been reported, can't confirm it, wouldn't if I could, have been reportedly trained for a decapitation strike on Kim Jong-un. Now, Kim Jong-un decided to let's see if we can practice how to take out those F-35s. Now, what about MAD, Mutually Assured Destruction? Well, that only works if each side's convinced neither would survive. You think North Korea is going to believe it won't survive? Oh, give me a break. I don't know. So, the experts have gamed this several times. And what they think, and here's just one of the scenarios. Okay? North Korea, of course, would have a stockpile of nuclear warheads and the ability to launch them from submarines, remote, and hard-to-detect sites on land. Fearing an attack from the U.S., North Korea launches a preemptive nuclear strike on the South Korean port of Busan. And they tell the U.S. if there's any nuclear retaliation, it will fire nuclear weapons at U.S. cities. Yeah. And would a president risk launching a nuclear attack and losing a city? Well, I think our interceptor test proves that if it's 1 or 2, we got it. Because they wouldn't just launch a missile one-on-one. They'd launch 4 or 5 interceptors in a normal scenario. Now, then you've also got the scenario where North Korea tries another ballistic launch, like the one on March 6th, but just before the missiles hit the water near Japan, a nuclear weapon on one or more of them detonates. Might down a few commercial aircraft, sink some cargo ships. Environmentalists, you want a problem? This would be a serious problem. I mean, just look at Chernobyl. So, like I said, how would a U.S. president respond? I don't know. What is true is Kim Jong-un is nearly able to strike against a regional target. If he can't really strike a regional target, I think he can actually strike regional. In other words, he could hit Japan, he could definitely hit South Korea. We all have known that for a while. And so the crescendo is, what's going to happen? How is this all going to go down? Well, no one quite knows. Now, I know I'm going on about quackers, and I actually hadn't planned this. It just kind of happened. You know me, I like to talk quackers. What can I say? Then, of course, there was the Hwasong 12. It was sent 2,111 kilometers. That's about 1,240 miles in altitude. It remained airborne for 30 minutes. North Korea's state-run media said it can carry a large-size, heavy nuclear warhead. To give you now, remember, it was put on a pretty weird trajectory, definitely designed not to hit anything. But it left the atmosphere and did re-entry just fine. And that is a huge, huge step forward. Okay? And now, the missile's estimated striking range is 4,500 kilometers or 2,800 miles. Give or take a little bit. What is that? That's halfway to Chicago from North Korea. So they get a sub. They get this. If this thing is capable of being launched off a sub, and I don't know if it is, they get a sub halfway from between here and Chicago. They can hit Chicago. That is a scary thought. That is a very scary thought. All right, folks. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. And just as a reminder, you can find me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. You can shoot me an email at the station, jessespov at KLRNRadio.com. And it is time to go pay them bills, and I will see you on the other side. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they say if you wanna. Turn your back on the country needing you right now, but I don't wanna.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Right
right. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me over that commercial break. Yes, we are off and running again. We have a lot to get through. We always do. And I know you haven't even heard my show prep yet. Don't worry, I got you covered. All right. Let's get it out of the way. There we go. There's the show prep. I know you're so used to hearing it up at the top of the hour. Well, unfortunately, I got sidetracked onto a Quackers rant. Take it for what it's worth. Now, with all this discussion of the nuclear ballistic missile of Japan, or North Korea developing nuclear missiles, I gotta untie my brain and my tongue today. Need more coffee. The Air Force, and this is something I thought you guys should all hear, maintains two out of the 3 legs of the nuclear triad. Let's take a listen.
The Air Force maintains 2 legs of the nuclear triad, including aircraft capable of carrying nuclear weapons, more than 400 intercontinental ballistic missiles, 75% of the nuclear command, control, and communication that connects the president to senior military leaders, and roughly 30,000 airmen maintaining this capability. Last week, Air Force Vice Chief of Staff General Stephen Wilson discussed the state of the nuclear triad during a Mitchell Institute breakfast at the Capitol Hill Club in Washington, D.C. Regarding the nuclear budget, General Wilson said Air Force leadership continues to advocate for stable, predictable budgets to ensure airmen receive the updated equipment they need to modernize the nuclear triad. He said the budget is a step in the right direction and helps the Air Force move forward with readiness recovery. General Wilson also spoke about modernization. He said to ensure the nuclear triad is responsive, survivable, flexible, and visible, the Air Force plans upgrades that include replacing the ground-based strategic deterrent missile with the Minuteman III, advancing the development of the B-21 Raider, and upgrading to the long-range standoff missile that will be compatible with all nuclear-capable bombers. He said today's modernization is tomorrow's readiness.
Yes, that was actually an official Air Force update that they put out mostly for the military, but I find them rather fascinating and like to bring them into my show. Now, I mentioned Raqqa. Raqqa is not the end game, the end for ISIS. We take down Raqqa, yes, we will set them back. There's no denying and no doubting that. However, Raqqa isn't it. Raqqa is just part of it. Why do I say this? Well, you'll have fighters returning home. You'll have all kinds of crazy things going on. So, what's going to happen after Raqqa? Well, even now, excuse me, Mr. Frog. Let me get a quick drink of water. All right. Even now, jihadi brides are returning all over Europe. And this is leaving particularly the UK, which had a great number of jihadi brides, in quite a conundrum. You can't follow hundreds of thousands of people or even 2,100 people around the clock. It's just a huge challenge, and it's a huge drain on resources. And you don't know which ones are radicalized, which ones have had training, which ones are likely to blow themselves up, and which ones were just trying to get out of Dodge to come home. Now, you know me, I troll the committee hearings and the briefings and all that. Now, I don't have this audio quite as well tuned as I'd like. But let's see if I can take a couple of quick guessing games here and grab what I need. All right, let's take a listen.
Many places, most of them ungoverned.
Okay, let's back up just a little bit further.
We do assess, however, that its ideology and methods have spread like tentacles into many places, most of them ungoverned countries, and send some foreign fighters back home that might want to carry on their mission. But clearly the strategy...
Okay, that wasn't quite the clip I wanted. We'll have to go back a bit further. So I apologize for not having these clips a bit better organized. Like I said, been a day.
While that won't solve the problem, particularly...
All right, let's back up just a little bit further. I think I found it. Remember, I do listen to these while I'm gathering them.
Doesn't it lend significant...
That's McCain talking.
While that won't solve the problem, particularly the homegrown and inspired attacks, clearly going to the heart of ISIS and driving a stake through that heart, we assess will significantly improve the situation. The plotting and the planning that comes from a centralized caliphate or safe haven for ISIS, we've seen the damage that's occurred. We do assess, however, that its ideology and methods have spread like tentacles.
All right, so taking out Raqqa isn't the end game. It is a good step towards it. It means they may lose their central planning office.
Thank you. In light of the tragedy in Manchester...
Okay, now... That's McCain.
In light of the...
Lives are at stake in many instances, and leaks jeopardize those lives.
That's about the recent leaks. Leaks do jeopardize lives. And, well, like I said, I'm still searching for the audio I want. Sorry I didn't have it queued up. There's a lot of things that we're facing. Just to give you a little overview, and I'm not trying to be an alarmist, and I'm not trying to scare you. These aren't my words. Here's a listing from the House Armed Services Committee by a 4-star general, I believe, on what we're facing.
Fail in pursuing these missions. They include a nuclear-capable and increasingly provocative North Korea, a resurgent Russia, a modernizing China, an ambitious regional power in Iran, and violent extremist organization. The last category encompassing ongoing operations in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a lot of threats, folks. So, what can I say? Raqqa is not the final solution. It will destabilize things. But Raqqa will put them on the back foot, but it won't take them out. Now, I do have some good news. It's not all bad. Okay? U.S.-backed fighters on Tuesday reached the northern entrance of the Syrian city of Raqqa, the de facto capital of Daesh. This was amid intense clashes and airstrikes on Raqqa's northern and eastern edges. The latest push by Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces brings them to about 3 kilometers, that's about 2 miles from the city, where a long and deadly battle is expected in the coming weeks. The latest push comes as airstrikes have intensified in recent days. U.S.-backed fighter jets have pushed in towards the city, getting closer from all sides. The Syrian Democratic Forces have captured dozens of towns and villages since November, when the group began an operation entitled Euphrates' Wrath. aiming to eventually surround and capture Raqqa. Syrian Democratic fighters have surrounded Raqqa from the north, west, and east. The extremists still have an exit from the south, even though U.S.-led coalition destroyed 2 southern bridges over the Euphrates River. Remember, they're fleeing for their lives. They can get creative. The Observatory for Human Rights said Syrian Democratic fighters captured gas and water facilities on the northern edge of Raqqa. Yeah, they got Tabqa Dam. Daesh flags still fly over the northern entrance of Raqqa. A giant Daesh banner reading "The Northern Sector, thank you for your visit." The activist-operated Raqqa is being slaughtered silently, said. And the U.S.-led coalition has targeted areas of fighting north of the city near a major Daesh base known as Division 17. So, Syria's state media said that at least 13 civilians were killed when Daesh militants shelled government-held neighborhoods in the eastern city of Deir ez-Zor. Now, why is Deir ez-Zor significant? Because that's the place Daesh wants to go next, but Syria is trying to take it over so that Daesh can't move in. What can I say? But there's a lot going on over there. There's a lot more than most of you realize. Now, of course, we have started sending weapon shipments to the YPG fighters. That is confirmed news. That is not speculation. It is happening. And also, like I said, Syrian Democratic forces have also reached the eastern entrance of Raqqa. The U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic forces captured the village of Asadiya in the northern Raqqa countryside. Some experts describe the village as the northern entrance to the city. However, SDF have not gone so far as to be able to capture the nearby 17th Division base. This means they can't enter Raqqa even if they wanted to. In the eastern side, the Syrian Democratic forces captured the village of Raqqa Samara, the last village that had been controlled by Daesh in the area. So they're on the eastern edge of Raqqa, they're on the northern edge of Raqqa. They have captured stuff in the south, but we don't know, there's no mention of how strong that is and if they're completely encircled. I just mentioned that, they can exit to the south. Now, us arming the Kurds has made Turkey a little bit annoyed at us. And in Syria, U.S.-backed forces are closing in on Raqqa. Okay? We got that. We got that straight? Families are fleeing the city. In the desert west of Raqqa, there's an exodus. They stream out of villages where Daesh is losing territory, some shepherding the animals that are their livelihood, many women throwing off the black veils that Daesh forced them to wear. So, this woman is 7 months pregnant and she fled her home 3 days ago. Now, there is potential for a huge humanitarian crisis in this area. And there are some refugee camps, but they aren't that close. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. I don't want to see another humanitarian disaster. It's been more than a year and a half since the operation to retake Raqqa from Daesh was launched. Of course, the offensive on the city itself has not yet started. Of course, the French say it'll start within days. Russian spokesman said that the United States is unlikely to launch an offensive soon. Syrian Democratic Forces, the U.S.'s closest ally, announced it will launch the battle for Raqqa within 2 weeks. They've got Tabqa Air Base, Tabqa Dam, etc. Now, of course, like I said, Turkey doesn't like the fact that the YPG's been armed. So, now Russia's trying to get in on the act. Yes, Russia. Russia has recently increased its support for the Syrian Democratic Forces, announcing the establishment of a military base in the Kurdish canton of Afrin. If Russia participates, the role of regime forces and Iran-backed militias is unclear. But they have tried to reach Raqqa from the southeast in the past. The Pentagon has continued to rely on the ground on the Syrian Democratic Forces. Now, of course, they are backed by U.S. and French forces. There are embedded special forces with them. The anti-Daesh coalition has been stepping up its airstrikes in a major way, dropping more than 1,000 munitions in the span of a week in some cases. The intensified bombing in Iraq, of course, did cause some civilian casualties. However, I blame Daesh for those civilian casualties because they put those people in a building laced with explosives. And I'm sorry, that's sentencing them to die. Now, Raqqa wasn't always obviously the capital of Daesh. It's got the Euphrates River. It was known as the breadbasket of Syria. It was an agricultural area because of the Euphrates. I mean, it wasn't always a horrific place to be. The city had a local council which, took care of a lot of things. It was a model for the rest of liberated parts of Syria. When Raqqa was liberated, there was not a single organization that did not start operations in the city. Local councils provided provisions of basic services. They had their own media center producing videos documenting political and social and military movements in the city. In the first few months, civilians were in charge of everything, from cleaning the streets to distributing bread to poor families. Women and men were taking an active part in various activities, organizing workshops, seminars, lectures, exhibitions. Local youth even founded a human rights discussion group. Now, al-Nusra started arresting local people, and the fights broke out. Al-Nusra pled to join Daesh, and by the end of the summer, Raqqa residents were using al-Nusra and Daesh interchangeably. Demonstrations were held in front of Daesh headquarters to demand the release of arrested and kidnapped civilians. They protested assassinations, and Daesh just continued to tighten their grip. Daesh consolidated its power over Raqqa. By January 2014, after defeating al-Nusra, Daesh took complete control of the city. It killed many Free Syrian Army fighters and executed more than 1,000 Ahrar al-Sham followers. The majority of activists and civil society members who survived arrests and assassinations fled the city. Raqqa residents now await with fear the approaching offensive. Why? Because there's going to be bombs falling. There's going to be guns going off. And even if the people don't want to, there will be civilian deaths. Okay? Unfortunately, war is messy. War is bloody. Alright, I got one last story, and then I gotta make my way out of here, because the right side is coming up on my heels. Ivanka and Jared skip work to take their children and to shul. And the family is joined by Joshua Kushner while observing the Jewish holiday. Now remember, Jared Kushner is Jewish, and Ivanka did convert. I'm not going into the politics, but the two are seen heading to American Friends of Lubavitch with their two older children, while the family walked the half-mile to the shul, or synagogue, from their home. Now, they were criticized for missing work. Excuse me. This is a religious holiday for them. We don't ask you to skip work, we don't ask you to work on your religious holidays. So why should you get upset with them for skipping work for their religious holidays? I mean, I'm sorry. Get over it. It's a religious holiday. It may not be your religion, but it is significant to them. All right, folks. On that note, I'm out of here!